Hello everyone, so I am here with David, as you can see. So we are here at a specific time where it's been about 13 months since Amazon's launched the ad tier in the UK. So maybe we'll start with, maybe you can share some top line figures with us.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me here. Lovely introduction there, Steve, appreciate that. Just over a year now, which is quite boggling because a lot's happened in that time. I think the first figure that's important is it'd be remiss of me not to talk about our viewers. And we are now reaching over 200 million on our ad-supported service every single month globally. And that number's over 19 million in the UK, so that's over a third of all adults, which is obviously music to the ears of the Prime Video team, because it means we can invest lots more into our brilliant content for all of our viewers. So that's kind of probably the most important figure, I think. The other one, I think everyone always expects us to talk about the TV to till bit. I think that's kind of our territory, so I'm not going to disappoint you. So probably not that surprising, but a big number. Nearly all of our Prime Video viewers are actually also shopping on a retail site as well. In fact, 98% of them are actually there shopping on our retail site. So again, for advertisers, that's particularly exciting. And then the last figure I want to share with you is a program-specific one. One of our biggest shows in the UK, Clarkson's Farm, according to Barb, last year was watched by over 10 million viewers. So, you know, huge, big numbers there of viewers tuning into a very fun and family enjoyable show.
Thank you for that. Who knew so many people needed to know about Clarkson's Farm? So, you know, in this past year since Zatia, actually, there's been a lot of general changes in the market for streamers. So, you know, in the previous talk, we heard about kind of Netflix's big move into live sports. You know, we've had price increases basically for pretty much everyone. And, you know, with all of these different changes, so what is Amazon's story to advertisers here in this past year? What has been the story you've been telling to differentiate yourselves among all of these other competitors?
Yeah, a really interesting presentation that we just saw there, and you know, some interesting trends I'd love to dig into it after this. And I think each of those you know services has their own unique flavour, if you like. I think we probably have sort of 3 points of differentiation. The first is of course our content. So and I've been here for coming up to 11 months now, so I'm still quite fresh and new. And I've been really impressed and taken aback by the Prime Videos team's passion for making sure that we're delivering content that delivers to lots of different audiences. So whether that's our live sport offering, you know, bringing Champions League every Tuesday night to viewers. We've got a big game on tonight, which is Liverpool against PSG. We had over 4 million tune in. For the Man City Real Madrid game, so that brings an audience with it. And again, we saw some figures there how important sport is. And then of course there's our big global hits, so things like Rings of Power and Fallout that bring a big audience, and they travel really well across different kind of territories as well. And then there's our local hits. I mean, I already mentioned Clarkson's Farm, but we've got dramas like The Rig, which is big. If anyone hasn't seen it, definitely worth tuning into that. So that works really, really hard for us to make sure that, you know, we bring huge audiences to the Prime Video offering as well. So with that comes reach. So I've already talked about some of those big numbers that we're seeing on a monthly basis, but I think it's the quality of that audience that is unique. So some of those really sort of hard to reach audiences, the younger demographic, the upmarket demographic, and that sort of primary shopper. That's really important for advertisers to reach. And you know, Barb data is showing how effective we are at driving incremental reach of those audiences. And then kind of underpinning that, the final thing is our ad tech. So at Amazon, we try and make it really, really simple and easy to buy advertising from us. So we've got fantastic ad tech underpinning all that through our demand-side platform, Amazon demand-side platform, which enables you to set up your campaigns and put controls and measures in place to control your frequency, and then also measure the outcomes of that as well. So Amazon Marketing Cloud does a really good job of helping advertisers understand how that advertising is actually working, whether it's in our own store or whether it's actually through our clean room technology to understand how it's working in other bricks and mortar stores or other online retail stores as well.
More generally, you know, in this past year, you've mentioned about kind of reaching sort of 1634s, and what do you think has been your key learning? Because of course you stand out in that you basically shifted people to the ad tier, and so it's an opt-out as opposed to an opt-in. What has been your key learning from that?
We're very humble at Amazon, and we're always, talking to our customers and trying to learn as much as possible, and trying to work backwards from their challenges or their needs. And I think you've already kind of touched on, one of those potential challenges was we needed to make sure that we offered an alternative, to that solution. So we did that by offering a very cost-effective way of having ad-free solution, which is just $2.99 a month. And we just saw some charts there that talked about some of the differentials between that and others. So the first learning, I think, was that we were really pleased to see that most of our viewers stayed with that ad supported service, which was brilliant. We also had another really, really positive learning. Quite early on, we saw lots and lots of brands and advertisers lean in who weren't necessarily those that were stocked in store. And the obvious advertisers that you think would lean into the service are those that are stocked in the Amazon store. But some of our biggest demand is coming from verticals like the financial sector, the travel sector, automotive, and particularly those advertisers who are trying to kind of really drive outcomes, whether it's test drives or sign-ups. And then other learnings, I think we've seen really good repeat business as well. So it's always a good endorsement of your product if people are coming back. So for 80% of all of those advertisers across the EU that booked a campaign with us in the first 6 months came back to deliver to book other campaigns as well. So that was a really, really positive learning for us to know that we were doing it right, which was great. And I think probably the last thing is just working with the likes of Barb and Thinkbox has been really, really valuable to we wanted to allow advertisers to have an impartial read on their viewing and understand how people were watching our content and who was watching. So that was important, and Thinkbox have been great as well at selling the virtues of TV and helping raise standards as well. Indeed,
I think we can all agree Thinkbox is a great job for this industry, certainly in the UK, on selling the value of TV. So let's briefly touch on the advertisers. You've mentioned about the ad tech, your big aim, make it really easy to buy from Amazon. Mm-hmm. And you've mentioned earlier on about this idea that, okay, people watch Prime and buy things off Amazon after. So, there is a message from Amazon about this sort of full funnel approach. Perhaps you can share some examples of kind of good full funnel campaign at Amazon, so that, because, we have this big conversation about brand versus performance. And Amazon is basically saying, we do both. So some examples would be definitely of interest to the audience.
Yeah, and I think and I know that a lot of that's been discussed today, and I listened to the podcast from James Chandler yesterday morning as well, talking about that, which was brilliant. I think we've got to be careful when we sort of talk about the full funnel, not to get sort of stuck into kind of marketing jargon. All we're really trying to do at Amazon is make sure that we deliver to our customers, whether our advertising customers, to reach our other viewing customers at whatever point they are in that purchase journey. So right at the top of the funnel, then if we let's make up a product for the moment. If you're a headphone manufacturer and you wanted to broaden your awareness of a campaign in a tie-up with talent, then we could help deliver a really broad campaign across our films and our live sport and all of our TV shows. And that would be a really broad reaching campaign. If, however, further down the funnel in the kind of consideration stage, we wanted to really drive that move that dial, we would do that by building, use all of those signals available to us, whether they're browsing signals or streaming signals or shopping signals. So we could then look at people who potentially looked at technology on our retail site and deliver that campaign to those users. And then further down the funnel at the kind of purchase stage, we would do that by looking at all of those customers that have been reached by that campaign already, and then we would on the retail site we deliver them a display ad or a sponsored ad, and we've done that to great effect with electronic brands like Shark Ninja. We had really positive results from them. We worked with EE to help promote their super fast broadband, and we built an audience for them that was built from signals of those who over-index from working from home. So we've got lots and lots of case studies and examples that we can kind of share with people if they'd like to dig a bit deeper.
Okay, brilliant. And so while on the topic of advertisers then, so what new products can we expect from Amazon this year?
So we're constantly looking to kind of iterate and innovate for our advertising customers, but also for our viewers as well. And we're quite obsessed with making advertising as relevant and as engaging as possible. So we've got a whole new suite of new interactive and engaging products that we're going to be bringing to the UK later on this year. Some of them already launched in the US, already seen some great results over there. The first is an interactive format. So if you can just set the scene, if you're sat on your sofa and that ad for those headphones pops up, then there'll be an interactive overlay that will be on your screen and will allow you to simply add to your basket. And the great thing is, obviously, your login for your Prime Video is the same as your retail store. So we're not asking you to do anything. We're not taking you out of the player. It's a very seamless process, so very user friendly for the viewer. The second format is a pause format, which is already quite popular within the broadcast world. So some of the players in the UK are already doing that at scale. But I think what we're bringing to the table is a layer of shoppability that hasn't really existed at this scale before. So really simply, as people pause the shows they're watching, they can add that product to their basket or find out more information. And then the final product is probably the most sophisticated. It's called the shoppable carousel. So here there's an opportunity to scroll through and just simply use the navigation arrows on your remote control to scroll through different products or different features. So you can find out that those headphones were waterproof, or they had noise cancelling technology, or I'm running out of other features, but you get the gist.
I see. And away from sort of these new ad formats, what else would Amazon be launching this year?
So not necessarily a launch, but certainly a new iteration. We're supercharging our sponsorship offering. So we're really bringing to life ways in which advertisers and brands can amplify their content partnerships with us. So that could be through talent tie-ups, it could be through using show IP, it could be through product placement, and then making sure that we're utilising that across our entire kind of canvas. So whether it's on Twitch or whether it's on Fire TV. So look out for some really big sponsorships that are going to be activated in lots of exciting ways. And we actually just launched a big CTV product on the 1st of March, just a week and a half ago, called our Streaming TV Plus offering. And there we're bringing together all of our CTV streaming products in one place in a really easy to buy, easy to transact and cost-effective way. So Prime Video, Twitch, and then our Amazon Publisher Direct, which includes loads and loads of brilliant CTV apps like Discovery Plus and Rakuten. So that is now available to set up in the Amazon demand-side platform, control your frequencies, get aggregated reporting, and really kind of reach the audience that you want at the time you want. Okay, just to reiterate then, so this is now already available? Yeah, this launched a week and a half ago now, and we're already seeing really big demand. It's in the UK and also in Germany as well, and it's already in the US. And the interactive formats we've just discussed, the carousel, the sort of interactive bit, pause ad, when would they be available in the UK? In the second half of this year. H2, all right. Yeah. And so to wrap up, since we're running out of time, so we've had a year of the ad tier. So this time next year, if you're back, what are you expecting to tell us? What's going on with Amazon Prime Video in 1 year's time? I mean, the truth is that everything moves quite quickly, as I found out since joining Amazon. So I'm sort of loath to make any predictions, but what I would love to be sort of talking about is some of the successes of some of the stuff we've already talked about. So how I'd love to be sat on a chair talking about huge sponsorships that we brought to life working with talent. I'd love to be talking about loads of kind of new live sport that we're bringing. We've got the NBA coming later in the year, which is going to be really exciting. Bringing that to a new audience in the UK. We'd also love to be talking about how we've helped thousands of advertisers really drive the outcomes that they want to drive through some of those new formats. So, but mainly I'd love to be talking about content, because I love content. So I'd love to talk about just new big shows and movies that our viewers are really enjoying. But of course, how advertisers can lean into that for this particular audience. Yes. So yeah, ways in which that they can use the signals that we have available to reach the right audiences through those shows. All right, then in that case, it's a date. We'll see you next year. Thank you so much, David Amodio. Thank you.